Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and it is time to recap night one of Wrestlemania. And let's just say it was a very good night. But I'm going to go match by match. Things I've seen, things that stood out to me and all that I'm going to cover. But first, we're going to talk about the first match of the night, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Now, this match, I'm not going to lie, it was a bit underwhelming. Mainly, not even just because of the fact that Rhea Ripley won the match. It was maybe due to some of the sickness that Becky Lynch has been going throughout the course of this week and some of the moves. It was still a solid match. I was actually somewhat looking forward for Becky to win. But at the end of the day, Rhea Ripley year-long reign as champion still continues. I'm just interested to see who in the hell is going to finally dethrone her. I thought this may have been the opportunity for the WWE for that to happen, but at the end of the day, Becky just did not get the job done, and Rhea Ripley's reign as the WWE Women's World Champion still continues. But it was a solid match. Like I said, in my personal opinion, it was a bit underwhelming. So if I had to rate this match, I would probably give it like a 6 or 7 maybe. More on the 6 side than a 7. So it is what it is. But next we have the 6-pack tag ladder match challenge with the Judgment Day with Finn Balor and Damian Priest, A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Awesome Truth, Miz R-Truth, New Cash Republic, Dunn and Bate, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods, The New Day. Now, this match was a very entertaining match. This match had a very good amount of spots. This match had a lot of story going into it. The whole Judgment Day dominance that has been reigning for quite a while. The A-Town Down Under thing that has been going on. The DIY. Now, I gotta point this out. It was funny that they had that little bit of a DX theme with the whole thing coming out because of the whole R-Truth comparing the Triple H and Shawn Michaels thing. And it was kind of funny that they performed pedigrees and the Sweet Chin music during the match. I did find that very entertaining. And the whole R-Truth at the corner trying to tag in thing was absolutely hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, R-Truth is a national treasure. R-Truth is a national treasure. Now, the one thing that stood out in this match, and when I was watching it and the way they set up the titles, I was thinking, I'm like, okay, this might be a moment where they actually separate the two titles again. And that is exactly what happened. Because of the way that they had them placed, because they had both of them separate. If I think they would have kept them together, they probably would have had both belts together for each side. And the fact that they had it separate, I was literally saying right when I saw that, I'm like, it would be funny if one team grabs one and one team grabs another and they separate the belts, and that is exactly what happened. A-Town Down Under, I didn't expect them to be able to ones that grab the Smackdown Tag Team Championship belts. I'm not going to lie. I was not expecting them to be the ones to grab the belt. But nonetheless, they grabbed them, and they are now the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. And finally, R-Truth had his WrestleMania moment, and they grabbed the Raw Tag Team Championship belts. Long awaited from R-Truth, well-deserved moment. All that he's been throughout this company, and he finally gets his WrestleMania moment with him and Miz winning the Raw Tag Team Championships. And I'm not gonna lie, it is a little bit refreshing to have the belts separate, as I'm not gonna lie, the Judgment Day's reign was a bit dominant, but it was also a little bit underwhelming. But at the end of the day, I really like the fact that the belts are now separate. I kind of figured at some point they had to do that, with the whole bland split thing and really taking into effect now. I had a feeling they was going to do it at some point, and what better point to have it at WrestleMania and give R-Truth his WrestleMania moment. I was personally rooting for the New Day to get the Raw Tag Team Championship belts. I'm not going to lie, but Miz and R-Truth have this moment, and I'm not mad at that either. And I will rate this match, for the R-Truth moment, I'll give it an 8. For the R-Truth moment, I will give it an 8. And the entertainment that R-Truth brings, I give it an 8. And the fact that they had J.D. McDonough come in and get involved, I kind of figured somebody was going to do it. I had a feeling if one of the Judgment Day members was going to get involved in some capacity, whether it was Dominic or whether it was J.D. McDonough, I knew one of them was going to get involved. But either way it goes, it is what it is. But the next one we had Rey Mysterio, and it was supposed to be Dragon Lee, but it ended up being Andrade versus Dominic and Santos Escobar. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is a very entertaining match with the whole LWO coming out, and Santos Dan Phantasma, they came out, they had some entertaining spots, and it ended up being that Andrade and Rey Mysterio ended up winning the match. And what made that moment great, for me being a football fan as well, is that Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson came out and helped the LWO win that match. And it was a very entertaining match. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This was probably the match that I cared the least about on the night one card. I'm not going to lie. This was probably the one match that, if any of the matches was like, yeah, okay, cool. I really didn't care, but only so much about this particular match. But at the end of the day, it still ended up being a very good match. So I would give this one a 7 out of 10. Very, very good match. Now, the Uso match. Jimmy versus Jay. I love the storyline. I love this promo segment that they did at the beginning with them introducing their real names and then introducing some of the things that they grew up with. And the one thing I was kind of hoping that they did in this match was to get their father, Rikishi, involved. I actually really would have loved to see that happen, as Rikishi, we all know his legacy, WWE Hall of Famer. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of hoping that they brought that element of their father into this match with the whole yeet and no yeet thing. And it was funny in that match that Jay almost just didn't want to do it. And it looked like from point one, Jay really didn't want this match because he really wanted his brother with him. But at the end of the day, Jay was able to pick up the win. He did have a little moment where he almost gave in to Jimmy, and Jimmy kind of snuck him, but Jay ended up pulling out the win. Main event Jay Uso. I figured main event Jay Uso was going to pull out a little bit of this match. I'm kind of surprised they didn't have Solo Sikoa get involved a little bit in this match, as him being their brother as well. But at the end of the day, this is a very good match, but I do think that the WWE kind of dropped the ball by not getting a little bit more family things involved as far as Rikishi and Solo Sikoa. Good match, 7 out of 10. If Rikishi and Solo would have got a little bit in it, which I was actually anticipating a little bit as far as the family element of this goes, it was a good match nonetheless. And main event Jey Uso had his main event night, had his WrestleMania moment, and beat his brother, older brother, Jimmy. But now we're going to have Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi take on Damage Control with Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai. And I'm not going to lie, okay, this is going to be me being biased. I loved it. I loved it for the Belair. I loved it for Cargill. I loved it for Naomi. I love my black woman. But anyway, I love this match. And it was finally a thing that they got them all together, Damage Control, and they were able to take them out. From my standpoint, this gets a 10 out of 10. I love the whole Chick Cargill and Bianca Belair and Naomi moment. I would give it a 10 just for her. And the entrance of the three women was excellent, and it was a good element to add the whole the whole interest mark for them, and I really like this match. I just wish they could have maybe went a little bit longer as far as Cargill goes, but at the end of the day, this is a very solid match. Bianca looks strong, Naomi looks strong, Cargill still push strong, and it's interesting to see if this gets involved with any tag team thing because of the Kabuki Warriors, Zayn and Asuka holding the women's tag team championships. So I'm interested to see if this leads to some type of championship match for the women's tag team championships. I'm interested to see how that's going to go leading forward. But the last two matches of the night, first, Gunther versus Sami Zayn, and this, they added the element of Sami Zayn's family with his wife and his son. They added the fact of Chad Gable, and they added the fact of Kevin Owens, his best friend, who he main evented last year's first night of WrestleMania with. He ended one long streak last year, and he ended another long reign this year. And I can't say, I'm very happy with this. I am very happy with this because at the end of the day, it was a dominant reign, but I've always said sometimes the long championship reigns get a bit stale. It gets a bit stale because at the end of the day, it's just like, who in the hell is going to defeat him? Like, WrestleMania is the point where some long reigns just have to end. And Gunther, the most dominant Intercontinental Champion ever. And Sami Zayn wins his fourth one. And I think this is the sweetest Intercontinental Championship he has won. And Gunther looked dominant through most points of this match. And it almost looked like Sami Zayn was down and out. But he kept that fight, that personality and the training that he did with Chad Gable. And it paid off. It paid off in this match. And it leads me back to before where he says, you owe me something. Chad Gable is going to get a title match at some point against Sami. I see it happening. I would love to see that match because the gauntlet match that those two had, it was a very good match. So that's going to happen. But this match was a good one. This was a 9 out of 10 for me. They played the whole element of Sami and his fight and his toughness in it. They played the element of Gunther's dominance and Gunther's frustration with not being able to put Sami Zayn down. And this was twists and turns, and I loved it. This was a very good outing by both men. I would give this a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 because of what it meant for Sami to beat him. It ended a long reign. They told the story of it extremely well with bringing all of the outside elements in to make Sami Zayn believe in himself and believe that he could finally take down Gunther. And it happened. And it was a very good match. Sami Zayn had his moment yet again to break another long streak. And we get to the headliner, the main event, the final boss, the People's Champion, the Great One, the Brahma Bull, the Rock. He got so many nicknames. And Roman Reigns, the undisputed WWE Champion, and take on Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. This match was absolutely fire. This is how you close a show. That is how you close a show. Roman Reigns looked great. The Rock looked great in his return, his entrance. I loved it. The final boss, he had that People's Championship that was given to him during the Hall of Fame ceremony last night. And this match lived up to all of the hype. Even you had Cody Rhodes with his spots. You had Seth Rollins with the knee injury flaring up again. You had The Rock with his frustrations. And you had The Rock kind of get his TKO, CEO thing going on with the referee. You had Roman. And this lived up to it. Whether it was The Rock getting speared by Roman, whether it was The Rock bringing the Mama Rose belt with his father-in-law and his mama on the side. You had that element bringing into it. You had the fact of Cody Rhodes just trying to finish his story. You had Seth and whole Roman Reigns' history with the Shield. You had The Rock and the Cody Rhodes rivalry that they've been going back and forth. You had all of these elements play out in this matchup, and it was absolutely a wonderful thing to see. Wonderful thing to see. I loved every single second of it. And you had the whole element of them double teaming Seth. You had the element of them double teaming Cody. Then you had Cody and Seth double teaming The Rock. And it was just so many twists and turns in this matchup. But the end result is exactly kind of the way I felt it would go as Rock and Roman win, because we all know this is a business. We all know that this is a business. To have Rock and Roman win, that's money. You know why? Because probably one of the most popular men on earth, The Rock, now you get to get him on night 2 to bring more eyes to the television screen. And it can add for some compelling storytelling in the championship match. And speaking of championship matches, with the Seth Rollins knee aggravation, that's going to play a big part in his World Heavyweight Championship match against Drew McIntyre on night 2. This match to me was a 10 out of 10. And it's funny that they give the dejected look of Cody Rhodes. And I literally said that when I seen it. It looked the same as when he lost last year to Roman in the main event of last year's WrestleMania. It was like, it was just eerily the very same feeling, the very same picture, image in my head when they were losing, when they lost the match and Rock and Roman were walking out of the ring. Now, it's interesting to see how they're going to tell the story of this in night 2 with the Bloodline rules now being in full effect for the Roman versus Cody championship match. But overall, this is a very good night 1 of WrestleMania. I will give this a solid 8 out of 10. I just kind of wish the Becky and Rhea match was a little bit more interesting to me. I wish Jade Cargill and them, I wish that could have ran maybe a little bit longer. Jimmy and Jay, I kind of wish Rikishi and Solo may have gotten some type of involvement in it maybe. And I do like the fact that they brought some Philly element with bringing the newly retired Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson out. And then, on top of that, R-Truth got his WrestleMania moment. Well deserved. 8 out of 10 night. Leave you guys some thoughts in the comments down below. And I will catch you guys after night 2 of WrestleMania. And just a reminder, Chicago Bears Weekly will be returning this week. I will catch you guys later. Peace.